What's up, everybody? I'm back with another episode of the Keep Going podcast. Today's guest is my brother, Tez Arbertha. Man, he's an avid real estate investor, multiple business owner, has a community of people that are closing real estate deals left and right, and he's a great dude. He was the reason I got into real estate. He mentored me from the beginning, and we got to grow with each other, and he's always been there for me, and our journeys have always impacted each other. Today we get to talk about our relationship, some really funny stories, some highs, some lows, and you really get to get behind the curtain on our connection. This was a blast to record. I can't wait till we get him on again. And man, as we always say, since 7 years ago when I got into real estate, keep going. Tez,
what's good?
Welcome to the Keep Going podcast, my
yes,
boy.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I know it's been a minute.
It's been a while.
But this means a lot to me because besides, and you might be equal, but besides me bringing up my wife on the pod, I think your name comes up every episode.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be talking a lot of shit. No. No, for real, all due respect, I really do. They'll ask me something and I'm like, yeah, so me and Tez were doing this, or how'd you get into real estate? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? And what about jujitsu? And so I'm just happy to get you on here, especially early.
Yeah.
But also getting to knock out several episodes before, it just means a lot to put in some work and then get you on here.
Let's go.
So thank you, bro.
I love it, bro. I appreciate the invite, man. You know, it's been a long time coming, bro.
Well, bro, I was thinking today when I was heading over here, just kind of the history that we have. But one of my memories I go back to is we were at a party at OU and you showed up by yourself out of nowhere. And I really didn't know you like super well, but we had already been hanging out. But for some reason, we showed a lot of love that night. And then after that's when I remember all the 2K sessions and things like that. So it's so interesting to grow with somebody from all these steps. And then today I show up, I'm walking through your office and you got people working in every room. You got all these systems in place, and it's interesting to watch someone grow so much.
You know, first of all, bro, thank you. But it's crazy to think about where we started, man. You know, like, you know, a lot of people don't know is like, sure, you know, I was there when you started in real estate, but you were there when I started in real estate. You were there before I started in real estate, years before. And, you know, the years of development, a lot of people may not be able to grasp like you. Like people say congratulations and that they're proud of me. And they remember when I was this and remember when I was that. But nobody really remember whenever, like pre-real estate. Nobody knows who I was or how I was or how things were around me and how things have changed now. And I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. It's cool.
It is cool.
It's really cool to hang out with you, man.
Bro, for sure. And that's what's been cool about the growth is we still get to hang out at all these different stages. And something I've always loved about you is once you started to gain more and more success, you were always very intentional of including me, which I always thought was a blessing. Like I still got that notebook from your conference right here that I write stuff in. And you had all those speakers and you're like, hey, I'm going to have you in here too. And you've always looked out. And I know we go times where we're not talking because we're busy or times we're talking every day. But I know relationships take you the furthest. And I really didn't think 15 years ago that this relationship was going to be this. Like, yes, we're family, but we've got so much business too. And it's kind of interesting because when you say like before real estate, it's playing basketball, it's playing 2K, it's going to your apartment and playing the game and really not doing much in the beginning besides kicking it. Like whether it was sports or the game, like I said, but then it fast-tracked real fast and God has a crazy way of making that work. Like what's the chances of you going to get Chick-fil-A that day and you see me at finish line? And then what told you to even include me? Because you're like, yeah, Serve Pro sucks, but I'm getting into insurance. You should do it. And I know we've talked about it before that you offer that to folks and not everyone takes it.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason it made sense.
Zach, you know the crazy thing is I like to say that I could spot talent back then. I like to make it seem like I like to make it seem like, oh yeah, I knew you were gonna be great at sales. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you didn't even know if you was gonna be great.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely didn't know. I didn't even know I had sales skills. To be honest, I thought we were just people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like communicating and talking and like going the extra mile and understanding and all of that. Like before they start putting names on it, like getting motivation and dissatisfaction. Like before they start saying that, it's just being a human. You know, and I didn't know that we had skills, but I'm saying that because like, to get back to you, I really didn't know, bro. Like I just wanted to put my friend on. Straight up. But you talk about God having a plan, he knew you had it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I knew you had it because what even continued you, or like not continued, but made you want to keep going with it? Like, because that stuff's hard. And like you say, you didn't know we had sales skills. They've developed. And I was talking to someone today and I was like, I guess I have a gift for talking with people.
That's a true gift.
Like you can speak on a stage, you can do all these things, but the normal back and forth with a person, I didn't know that's something you get better at. Because you talk with your friends growing up and we're hanging out, we're with a crowd of people, then we're by ourselves, then we're doing other activities. And you're like, this is normal. That's my guy. We just chat. Excuse me. But then you look back 8 years and see how comfortable you are with these things, even talking to someone that's new in the game or seasoned, and everyone's getting a little bit from each other. So I didn't know it was like you said, a sales skill.
I didn't know it was a skill set at all, you know, and so, you know, I alluded a little bit to like God knowing it in you, right? So it was nobody else at that time that I was saying, come on at Roush, come on at Allstate, come on over here, come on over there. Like it never was like that. But when you look at timing, not to get too deep into the weeds, but I saw you at Chick-fil-A. I didn't know that I was already on my way out the door.
Right.
At the time I was recruiting you, I was trying to get you to come over. Remember, it was like, I was trying to get you to come over, like, Zach, come on. And you wouldn't. And then finally, you were like, hey, I want to go over there. And I wasn't there anymore. Right?
You were there.
Was I there?
You were there. And then I interviewed and I called you like, yeah, I'm about to bounce now, though. Like, it was kind of right on time. Because you're like, yeah, go meet Judd.
Yeah.
And then I called you. And I was like, hey, man, it worked out. He said he's going to bring me on. You're like, yeah, I'm about to dip, though. And it was before you had went over there and had that conversation you told me about. And then you made that jump. And the thing that's so interesting to me is the trust. Like, you're like, do this. I did it. Okay, I'm doing this. Do that. Then Roush, have our issues trying to max that out. You're good to go. But my story wasn't to stay at Roush. And then you're like, hey, man, like, we're not going to quit here. We're going to, get back into it here. So then I get into home creations. Then right when I get comfortable, you're like, no. Like, I'm about to start something else. And it always makes me think of the Houston trip because that's another time you selflessly looked out for me for no reason. You're like, I want you to get into real estate. And I was so hesitant. It was before that Roush jump. And we went to Houston for a weekend. And all we did was talk, it's an 8-hour drive or whatever it is. And we talked about all those goals and aspirations, but you were still so new. So we talk about that, but you were only like a year in. You just happened off your hard work, but you just happened to get a lot of money quick from that. But it was just the beginning. Like you could have been like, yeah, do this. And then it just messed up for all of us.
Do you remember how hardcore I had to close you to go?
Yeah, because
you didn't want to take my money?
I didn't want to take your money on that.
You didn't want to use my money. You didn't want to take my money. That's something about you, man. That's why you have a heart. That's why you're always going to be blessed, bro. You don't have a taker's heart.
You said
there's givers and takers in this world, bro.
That's true.
And you find out real quick who are takers and you find out who givers are. And you wanted to give something.
Yeah. I didn't want to take something.
Yeah. That's how you always been. People may not know that about you. So anybody listening, like, this dude's got a big heart. And it's like, you didn't want to go on that trip. Anybody else would be like, oh, yeah, let's go.
We're going to Houston and you're paying for it? Let's go.
No, don't say nothing else. I'm in the car.
I was hesitant for like a week. And then you called me back. You're like, bro, for real.
I had to keep texting you. You wouldn't text me back. The message said red. I was like, he not coming. But I wanted you to come because I wanted you to experience, because you were on the fence about jumping into real estate, but you had already softly committed to sales with Allstate. So I was like, bro, just come over here, bro. Like, and it's just like, you already had that uncertainty, and then I just shift, and you're like, nah. So I'm like, you got to see this in real time. Like, you got to see me spend $100, like $300 money we used to trip on. People,
well, $100 was a lot, and money is still important, but $100 was a lot. And I remember the negotiation you did is we got there, and you're like, all right, you pay for parking for the weekend. It was like $52, and I paid for that, and that was probably my last at the time. And I paid the $52, and then we just went and played for a weekend, going out, going to eat, hanging out, and it really did change it because of the conversation, I think. And I think we did a lot of stuff for each other during that 3 days that we didn't know had lasting effects. 100%. I remember you were like, I kind of want to see the beach. And we went to a cove. It wasn't just sandy beach, but I was like, bro, it's only 2 hours. Like, we should just go. And then we went, your AC's out, but we still pushed through. Then we had that seafood dinner right there. Like, we're doing all these things, just kind of figuring it out. Yeah. But I remember driving by all those basketball courts, and we're like, should we hoop? You're like, it's like 110. So like, we had all these moments of just really enjoying each other's presence.
You know, I still go to Kemah. I still go there.
Oh, really?
Family. I'm taking my family there. Because of that trip, I know it's there. I'm like, you ain't been to Kemah? I told Mayhem, oh, you ain't been? Like, I went years ago with Zach. It's a great time.
It was kind of popping there that day. There was like a lot of...
So, by the way, it's always popping, by the way. Like, they always got bands. It's always popping. But that's crazy, because I walked past that basketball thing. It's still there where you shot the hoops. I still got that snap. I haven't been on Snapchat in years, but I still have that video of you shooting the ball back then.
So yeah, it was like a fair style, wasn't it?
I just remember you can hoop. I always tell people, like, Jack's a bucket. And that day you were shooting a ball, and it was fun. So I remember that. So like, I don't know if you remember how it's set up. I remember, like, it's vivid, but you like, it's like a L at first when you first walk in, and then it opens up.
Yeah, I was going to say it opens up. I remember
so
that
right
part.
At the brink of that L is where the basketball thing was. So every time I like walked down there, I was like, hey babe, that's where me and Zach was. You know what I'm saying? So,
for a while you were sending it like as a memory when it would come up.
I still see it, bro. So it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. You know, I know we got so many details. A lot of people it seems surreal, but it's all God's plan. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we just worked hard, man.
And believed in it.
And still work hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I got to go to these moments, man, because I remember when you got your house at Roush, and it's a nice house.
I made it.
It was a nice house.
Thought I made it.
And we were used to a lot smaller. The Pinehurst. I'll never forget the name. I walked in. I said, well, you got 3 living rooms, but it's just an open concept. But we're like, look at all this room.
You had like 1,600 square feet.
You had the game set up in 2 areas, and we thought it was it.
Yep.
And I remember driving over there the first time, and I was so locked into my area of Moore that I thought I was lost. Now I live 2 miles from you.
Yep.
Oh, 2 miles from the Pinehurst.
Yeah.
And it's normal. But at the time, Tez, when Kendall took me over there, I was like, bro, where are we at? And we were just at Northwest Expressway. But I was like, I don't hang out over here. But that was the thing that was showing me that it's possible is you were able to secure a place. You got consistent. I was able to experience it with you. But the turning point is when I was fired from Roush and I got on at Home Creation. That was the turning point, I feel like. Getting involved with you was cool. And I got to shout you out on this because I've mentioned it before on the pod. You were like, no, like, we wear suits. I'm going to take you to get a suit. Like, there was all these moments. And since you bring up that I'm a giver and not a taker, like, there were moments I had to humble myself too. I was like, no, I am dead broke. And if we wear suits, I'm not going to buy a suit. You took me and got me a suit, and embarrassing, but we got the same dress shirt.
Yeah, we were fly. We was fly.
Don't wear it on Tuesday because I'm wearing it. But those moments stick with me because they're moments where you were showing a lot of humility too. Like, it wasn't like you wanted to just buy me stuff. It's like, no, like, we're going to do it together. Yeah. And then I thought that was really it. But when I went to Home Creations and we locked back in, I felt like that's the time where not only were we already brothers, but it just got so much realer. It got like today when I walked into your office and I see the people working, but I know Tez. And like, just like at the model home, I would pull up on you when I'm done and you'd be in there working. And I get to just show up and spend time with you, and it just meant so much. And I didn't know that it was so important. Like, we definitely have a relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
But I guess I didn't know all those 2K sessions for 8 hours at the apartment, which is unreal, would turn into like lifelong, like we can't get unconnected.
Nah.
Even if we weren't to talk for 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, no, like we're always going to be connected, because even though you started before me and were the reason I got into it, we never let each other stop on it.
Yeah.
Like any hard time, or even when we went to Evolve and I was talking to you kind of on the side, I always love bringing up where you come from, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
I'm not the type to bring up where you come from or bring up old times to try and dumb you down to a level. It's like, no, bro, can you believe it's this from this? That's why we text like it's only the beginning. And it's just crazy to see.
It's crazy to see, bro. It's crazy to think. I mean, this is a super real conversation, man. I love it. I mean, I can't believe it. I would like to see it from your eyes, though.
I would like to see it from yours.
I would like, ain't that crazy?
Yeah,
but,
I would like to see
we
it
both
flipped.
experiencing it. That's crazy. Cause like, I know, cause the times where like, you never not give me my flowers. And then like, it's not like today's like, oh, the first time he's saying some of these things, like you talk about the suit situation. It's just like, bro, like I ask you to do something and you bet it on yourself,
everything,
but a lot on my word.
Yeah, a lot of
like,
that's why I said the trust.
A lot of trust.
Yeah.
So anytime you needed something, I had to.
Obligated almost?
Not obligated because I didn't have to, but internally who I am, I have to. It's like, yo, Zach, go out here, blah, blah, blah. Zach, get to work, look around, see people in suits. Now he feels like he's not prepared for something I asked him to do. I can't do that. It's like you telling me, Tez, let's go hoop. Zach, I really don't. No, come hoop. No. I get out there, I ain't got no shoes. You gonna go in your car and be like, here go your shoes.
I mean, we even went to UCO a couple times.
Like it's just what we've been for each other, bro. And I know that if you were in my position and the roles were reversed, you would have done the same thing.
Right.
So since I know that inside of me, I had to.
It makes it a lot better.
I had to.
I remember one time at the Pinehurst, I could keep going back. That kills me.
Okay, so for everybody who don't know, in new home construction, there is model names for a specific floor plan of a property. So when we talk about the Pinehurst, it's funny to us because we both were from new home sales and we named the houses the name of the house. So there you go. Now y'all are up to speed.
Now you're up to speed because you're all right. I remember on a different episode, they're like, well, for people that don't know, wholesaling is this.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember all that.
You don't have people Googling Pinehurst.
But the Pinehurst, bro, I remember it was when I was first getting into Roush. I had the business phone. I was trying to make it work.
Yep.
I was at your house. And bro, you forced $20 into my pocket when I was leaving. Like forced it. And you didn't we didn't look at each other either. It's kind of a funny moment because you're like, hey dog, like, I know you need it. And I did, but
you weren't gonna ask for it.
No, and
you weren't gonna take it.
It's just a funny moment when I remember that because it could be that $20, but then we close 100 deals together or more.
A lot of money.
That's insane.
Yeah, a lot of money made.
But to see the growth from that, and then switch it to the business that you're in now, like I watched you build up local guys off of nothing. You literally came to my model home with Kevin and said, hey, we're going to do this, which is reckless that y'all came in on camera to do that. I always think of that. I'm like, why were we sitting in the model home on camera talking about this? Fuck it. But afterwards, when it was just me and you said, hey man, but for real, like set these couple things up because if I fail, you got to have a backup. That was, I think, the reason the trust was always there is it was like, hey bro, I'm doing this, but if it fails, even when it was at Roush, whatever level it was at, it was like, but have a backup for this. And not like have a backup to where you're quitting real estate, but have another option that gets you fed. And I think that's why the trust increased. And then watching you take off on your own and in quick time build up something that's insane with your investment company, with your rehab company, with the teams you build, with the systems you put in place, with the people you've introduced me to. It's not only inspiring, but it's just cool to always see the compounded growth. Like, I remember at your rooftop event, and this happens every time just because of what I said, that we have a history. So I show up to the rooftop event, bought the mixer, wanted to be there with y'all, see all your students, and then we break off and we have 5 minutes by ourselves. And literally sitting there and talking about the times when we were way less fortunate. And not just money-wise, just decision-wise. Like, yeah, we did some stupid shit right there. We're like pointing at places. Yeah, I remember when that happened, but look where we're at now. And the thing that's stuck with me the most is, even though you and I have grown so much and had ups and downs, all types of conversations, I felt like we were always transparent enough that we were even good with the bad. Like, even when there were bad times or we had issues, we're like, hey, we got these issues, but they don't define us for the long term. Yeah. And I think that's huge. And I think that's something about maturing, because even though we didn't have anything crazy bad, there were probably times that these little conversations could have been like, hey, we're cool on each other now. Yeah. Like, nah. Like, he's cool, I'm cool, but we're not friends. But no, it was just growth. Yeah.
And I've had those with people too.
And we got lucky.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
We were about to fight. We were about to fight before. And I think, but you know what? I got 2 brothers, and I'm about to fight both of them.
That's how it
Plenty
goes.
of times.
Yeah.
I actually fought my little brother. I actually fought him because he got big.
But he's
fast.
the big boy, right?
Yeah, he got big real fast.
You had to get him before he got
I had
big.
to get him. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh.
You gonna remember this.
Stick with you. No, but that's love though, man. I've never I don't know anybody who I've gotten close to fighting as a friend, that we're still friends.
Well, because I'm like that. Usually once it's beef, it's beef. Yeah. I'm such a respect guy and a love guy that if I get some hint of disrespect, I'm just cool on it. Yeah. I don't want to.
Same. But you know what I think it is?
What?
I think that you understand and we understand each other enough that we can at least step back and look at it from the other person's perspective.
Because it's not always like, say,
what's he dealing with?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, what's he going through?
I was going through a tough time at that time. Remember, I had just tore my ACL. It was rough. That was my first time back in the gym. I wasn't.
Oh, that was after the injury?
Yeah. Remember? I wasn't who I was before. I had to move different. Well, and that's something I loved.
Before the ACL, you were locked into it.
Yeah. It changed a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was battling with a lot. So anything pissed me off. Like, I was already short-tempered in there. I was going through a tough time, and I was going through a very tough time in business in terms of just not feeling appreciated or wanting to be a part of what I was a part of, you know?
Well, it's crazy with business because it can always feel that way if you let it. Like, even when you are doing well, you can always analyze it to be on the negative side.
That's a fact.
Something I've tried to work on, and I'm still growing in it too, is I'm like, okay, I need to stop thinking of the things that aren't going my way and think of the things that are going my way. Because you'd be surprised at all the things that are going your way. Like, yeah, you have to put out a lot of fires, or in your case, put a lot of systems in place to open up certain business.
I'm sorry, bro. No, listen. All I just thought about, because you said think about what is going your way. I thought about how beautiful your home is right now. And then I thought about how pumped you were when your mom first said that you can take over her house.
Oh, I was hyped.
Then I thought about the time.
I'm just waiting.
When you were telling me bye after we sat there and smoked all day, and you had your robe on, and you had Chief in your hand like this, and you said, and you just waved.
Feeling like the Fresh Prince.
Yes, I just felt so. It was the funniest. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I only had that.
That's the only image that came to my head.
Bro, because
you had a black robe, didn't you?
Yeah, and you were like, why are you holding that dog like a villain? But that's what I'm saying. We always celebrated each other in that. Yeah. Because you came over and I'm like, yeah, I got a space now.
And you were so hyped, and I was so hyped for you.
It's insane because.
But think about that moment, and think about this moment, and it's crazy. Like, you wouldn't tell that Zach, like, you would still have things that you feel bad about at this stage.
No, you'd be like, I made it.
Absolutely.
That's why I have to try and focus on being grateful. I do well of it now, but that's why when those times in business it was going the other way, I had to remember, because I'm like, bro, relax. Like, keep pushing for that greatness, but take a step back.
100%.
Because paying my mom $500 a month to grow up in the house I grew up in and not pay anything else. Mom took care of me. Like, that was a lot. That was one Rouse check because I wasn't getting no sales. So every 2 weeks I can pay the rent, but then after that it's tight. But even for you, I remember the 1-bed apartment. And then I remember going to the other apartment. You're like, this is 2-bed.
Oh, we up.
Then we're in the duplex. Like, it was always growth. And like, we joke about the Pinehurst, but we thought that was it.
Oh, man.
I was like, dang, you got like an island in it?
I mean, you got rooms that are being used?
You had the room that wasn't you. That was the joke. We were like, look at this. It's just open.
It's just a room.
There's nothing in here. I don't even got a bed in it. Like, we're like, okay, cool. Like, why is this? And then you got your house in Edmond, and even though it's normal now,
yeah,
at the time it was normal too because of the growth you were getting. But I would sit there, and you probably did it at my house. I'm like, what is this? Like, how are we driving a nice vehicle, living in a nice, how can we pay our bills every month?
Man.
Like, it seems simple because people always want to say, well, I'm trying to retire and I'm trying to be a billionaire and I'm trying to do this and this. We came from so little that sometimes we have to reflect and be like, damn.
Bro, I went down to the county courthouse the other day to pick up some documents, right? And I crossed paths with people. And it's like, you could really forget about real life. Like, if you detach and you just live in your house in Edmond and you just come to the office every day and go to Edmond and go back to the office and then go to the gym and then go to Edmond, or you go to Lifetime and then you go to your house in Edmond and then you come. And it's like, I always so like, I wouldn't forget. Like, but sometimes you can. Like, people go through real stuff. And we were those people at a point in our lives, but it's like, man, God is really good. And it's like, we could make a podcast and talk hustle. But I think that people need to fall in love with the story that we both experienced together. It's like, I mean, we crossed paths. We never knew that we'd be this far together.
No, not at all.
Like,
and something else that stuck out to me through the growth is getting to watch each other change for the better. Like, when I see you with Day, and I'm just, she will not understand how happy I am when I see y'all. Like, I tell her every time. I know her kind of well, but not super well. But I tell her, like, thank you for taking care of my guy. And she'll probably tell you I say that every time. But she does not know the feeling because I care for you so much that when I see you truly happy, or she posts a video of you, and you're the one that got me the other day, was y'all were on a trip and she's, it was like a, where they make the video like a collage where it's like different videos. Don't get me started on like correct words. And you're sitting in a cabana, you ain't got no shoes on, and you're drinking some tiki drink. And I was like, this fool. Because I know you like them sweet ass drinks.
Sweet drinks.
And I'm like, he is cozy because he does not like his feet out. And he's sitting here cozy as hell in some short shorts, like drinking a good drink. And those moments of seeing you truly happy mean the most to me because the business is cool. Like, I could celebrate you on this for 2 days straight on the mic. Like, the amount of business you've acquired and accomplished, impressive, bro. Like,
thank you, bro.
That shit is amazing in itself. Like I said, I could go on and on. But the life stuff has meant the most to me. Like, watching you be happy, watching you grow your family, watching you take care of me, Mom. Watching you help your family get into it too. Like, watching you fall back in love with jiu-jitsu. Because I remember sitting in your Toyota and you're like, man, you got to make a decision. Like, you're pretty dedicated to this jiu-jitsu, but like your business is doing this, like find a balance. And it took me a while to find a balance before I could take a step back. But something I love is, for some reason, I really love seeing you happy.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. So when I see you at the gym, or I see you and we're playing ball, or I just see you, but you're happy, that means more to me than any of this could. Because we come from a dark past where we were always safe enough. There was a lot of dark times. And I don't think people realize how grateful you can be for like the little things.
I think so many people, Zach, just don't like man, if I could go back, and tell me back then something, it would just be take a risk sooner, man.
And you wouldn't even wanted to listen.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You wouldn't have listened.
That's true.
Because the taking risk was like, even when we did when I did your pod, and you're like, you're pretty risky, and I was like, man, I never thought of it. Like I never thought of it that I'm
Yeah,
8 years in with no guarantees.
Yeah, high risk. High risk. Ask yourself, like, it's a high risk.
Yeah. It's a high
This
risk.
is high risk.
And what they say, high risk, high reward.
High reward, man. But I think that, a lot of it comes back to just God, bro, because, I go back to the moment you talk about walking through the mall and, going to Chick-fil-A that day, and I'm just speeded up. You think about, you said, Tez, you talked about having a backup plan. It's because I could not. I'm glad that you trusted me, but it was on my conscience if it didn't happen.
Yeah, if it didn't work.
You trusted me, right? So I was like, man, like I really hope this goes well. Like I hope this is a good bet. Because at this point, like I just lost my 6-figure job, multiple 6-figure job. And now my friend is about to walk away from his, and we ain't got many deals right now.
Bro, I just imagine when you say tell your younger self, there is no way that me and you say we can go back together. And we see us together playing 2K. And we're like, hey, y'all are going to make over X amount. Y'all are going to be 6-figure earners. And then you're going to quit. You're like, bro, shut the hell up. Like, I make $20,000 a year on a good year. So
first of all, I don't see myself hitting that.
Ever. I thought.
And if I do, you're going to have to drag me out of there. I used to say that at work. I said that's exact pay at work. I said, they're going to have to drag me out of here. I ain't going nowhere.
I mean, I remember even when we were in Houston, and I've got to bring this up because that shit was hilarious. You and Kendall are like, yeah, how much is the section? And it's like $2,500. You're like, all right, I got $1,250. He got I said,
got between us. He said, hey, okay.
I know y'all paid, but we're not going that far. The table is 2 feet from where we're sitting. No, we're leaving that alone.
Zach, we started spending so much money in Houston that time, and we were so focused. You were like, we got to get back home. So we on the elevator on the way up. I'll never forget this story. We on the elevator on the way up. I'm looking for flights. The kid was looking for flights. You just chilling. We're like, yeah. So you want to pay half? I'll pay half.
You're like, we might just fly him home so we can stay out here.
Zach, you want to fly home? We can just go stay in Houston. You was like, no. He's like, I don't care. I don't know. Whatever. I forgot why we ended up not doing it.
I don't know why. Anyway. It was probably because those 5 nights or 3 nights in a row.
Not going to sleep until 5. Yep.
Yeah, like. But man, on the life side, I didn't know that it would be this great for both of us. I really didn't. Like, I didn't think I'd have a beautiful wife. I didn't know you would have the same. I didn't know we'd be so comfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't know we'd be at your house watching UFC or playing the game on the fire pit. Like, it seems normal stuff, but they just don't understand. Yeah. They just don't get it. Like me pulling up to your house when we were heavy and local guys. And I just got my bike. And you're like, dang, that's clean. Like, or you pull up in the Toyota, or you pull up in the Tesla, or the Corvette when we were in Tulsa. We go back to those children moments that nobody's going to understand. Like, no one's going to understand it. Because, yes, we were close when we were young, but it just compounded so fast. And it became partners for life on that. Like I said, we could go so long without talking, and it's still going to be. Like the other day, bro, I just wanted to say hi to you at your office because you were on my mind. And I was like, I just want to tell him.
I'm glad you came by.
I was like, I just want to tell him good job. And that's another thing is you have to do what you feel. Who am I to come to you and tell you good job? You're doing great. But I wanted to come in. You're like, is that Zach? Through the door. And then I open up, you're having a sales meeting. You're like, here, sit down, get comfortable. I'm like, no. Let me talk to them and get out your hair because we'll start getting off track.
Oh, yeah.
But.
Oh, yeah, I'll be in there laughing. Yep, that's true.
Like, we're so professional to an extent. Like, we can't lock eyes too long.
Oh, boy.
Like, we're in an event.
It could be anything.
Or an interview or a business deal. It's like, we can't look at each other too long. Like, one person's going to say.
Something's going to happen.
It makes me think of, like, what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
When I saw you pouring out your story at OKC Evolve, but I know it word for word. Yeah. It's like, man, you keep going.
Yeah.
And people ask me about that, and shit, you got it on your leg, I got it on mine. But it started so naturally because we had never accomplished enough. Like, you showed love. Like, when you were in real estate before I got into it, or no, you were in insurance. You were in insurance because I was in college. And you like, come watch my games.
Yeah.
That was like us thinking we made it. Like you were making some money in insurance. I was playing college basketball. Like I think we're moving the right direction. But once we got into real estate together and we'd hit hard times and just say, keep going, I didn't know it'd be a mantra. I didn't know it'd turn into a lifestyle. I didn't know it'd turn into a podcast.
Right.
I didn't know it'd turn into a business. Now we've been working for ourselves pretty much for almost, well, you 8 years, I'm almost 8 years.
Yeah.
When we grew up with people in our life that only taught us do this, this, and this and have a job for X amount of years. And we're just very blessed.
Very blessed, bro.
And I love that we can still go the comedy route. Like, I love that we can always break the ice. I love when I see you at the gym or you see me somewhere and it lightens us up. Like, I still remember when you were like, you got to come do jujitsu. And I was like, all right. So you come over to my house and you're like, this is how you close your guard. I was like, how do you even lock your feet? I couldn't even lock my feet.
I remember that.
I was struggling.
Yeah.
And then you're like showing me how to position your hands. And I'm like, bro, this is so hard. And you're like, no, you'll get it. But we've always been like that for each other. Just like the hooping. I remember being in your,
I love hooping with you, bro.
the damn Pinehurst, bro. It keeps coming up. But we were with me, you, and Alex Carter.
I remember that.
And y'all were like, show me your move. And y'all were like crossing and stuff. And I was like pivoting, triple threat style. I'm a fundamental guy with sauce. And you're like, that weak ass shit. And then we went in hoop. I was scoring and I was like, man. And then another hooping story that's funny is the UCL.
Oh, yeah, because we had a little basketball thing on the wall.
The church. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah, at your house.
Yeah.
That's why we were doing it. And you said that weak ass move. And then
go
we
hoop
go
on
and
us?
play. And I was like, fuck y'all. But I have to bring this up. The UCO story always kills me because I don't know why we went there to hoop.
One of my buyers from Roush
That's what it was?
was plugged. Boom.
Okay.
The Asian dude. Cool dude.
We went in there and started acting reckless for no reason. I remember we were playing and we were locking them up because you got a low center of gravity. You could move left, right. So we were locking them up. But then I remember, token white guy, I was getting all the shit talking to me and I ripped that dude and I remember throwing it out of bounds and giving them the ball back to try again. And we were in enemy territory just feeling ourselves. And that's how it's kind of been in the business world.
100%.
Every time we've been together or split, that's what I think is beautiful. People would mostly think that when there's a split, there's like not the same love, but it grew more.
Yeah.
Like spending time at the gym, spending time together on other stuff. It just means a lot. And that's why I call you like I did the other day when I was driving back from Guthrie. I was working and talked to you for 30 minutes and just said how happy I was that you're happy. And I don't think there's enough people that always want to give the flowers like that. But you've given me so much.
Yeah, when it's on your heart, you kind of have to. But I'm proud of you too, man. It's been a journey. I mean, it's crazy because it just feels like so much more time to go.
Oh, yeah.
So many more things to do.
I'm going to laugh when we're 60 somewhere. That'll be real funny. You come see me in Europe and we're 62. And I'm like, hey, bro, come over here. We're doing this. You're like, what the hell is this? But I know we're getting to the end because you're a scheduled guy, which I respect.
Yes, sir.
But I always want to open the floor for the guest to ask me some things that may be on their heart as well. Because I'm always the one asking questions, telling stories. But I always like to open up the floor because you'll make me think of something that I wasn't on my mind.
Okay. So, there's a guy by the name of Patrick Bet-David. Heard of him?
Yeah. Blue suit?
Yep. Very sharp guy. He has a book called Your Next 5 Moves.
Okay.
And on the front of it, there's a picture of a chess.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember you're the one who taught me how to play chess?
Yeah, I'm not the best one at it. I went to Roshan's and got smacked.
Oh, yeah. No. You don't.
But I remember teaching you.
Russell's son is
That's what Roshan told me.
ridiculous.
He said, yeah, and then Russell's son made me feel like a child. So, but yes, continue.
So on there it talks about, basically in the book is called, Your Next 5 Moves. So I want to ask you, do you know what's next for you in terms of like just 5 years from now? Not even, it ain't got to be business. Just what do you have on your horizon for 5 years? Have you sat down? Have you thought about it?
Mm-hmm. I have. And it's funny because you're the third person in a row when I opened it up to ask that. Like Broyles said, what's next for you? My guy, Xavier Hunter, that I had on recently, he was like, well, kind of what do you have next? And a realtor I had on kind of asked the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago when we were going through our growing pains and I was working too much in a bad way instead of working smart, instead of being an efficient entrepreneur, I was just rat racing.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I wanted to live my happiest day every day among the stress, because it happens. Once I made that shift, I started getting more intentional with my actions and the decisions I made as far as choosing to do this versus this. Mm-hmm. Since then, I've taken more risk outside of business. Me and my wife have went to Europe a couple times, which takes confidence that you trust your business. Because most people in this style business that we have, they're going to panic to take a month off.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I did it twice last year. And at first I was scared, but it was another one of those risk moments. So then I took these long trips, these steps back, and realizing that the business can still thrive. You can still be successful, but you don't have to be on it every day. You can take those breaks. And then being in other countries and seeing how other people operate opened up my worldview to see what's important to me. And yes, I want to make as much money as I can, but I'm a non-regret guy. So I'm not going to look back at 60, 50, 70 years old, whatever it is, and say, I wish I would have done that. So once I got that mindset and started being okay with those decisions, we used to talk about it. Are you okay with what you did today? Are you content? Yeah, I'm comfortably content in a positive way. It made me start thinking of what I want to be in the future. And I really think, man, as much as I love my environment and I've always been here, I really think that, you know, Rachel and I are going to keep building this business, and I'm going to dip, and I'm going to be in some random country for 90 days at a time, and I'm not going to have a home base.
Like nomad
style. And I'm going to live in the UK for a year. I'm going to live here for a month. I'm going to live here for 90 days. And I just really think I want to explore the world and learn about life from a different perspective, where I'm not just worried about always when am I paying my next bill. Something I've been working on big, and you'd be proud of it, is those monthly, they're not just debts, but like those monthly responsibilities. Ever since I had that mindset shift, I've reduced them by like tenfold, and still been happier and made more money the more I minimize. So my goal is to minimize my responsibility and maximize, I guess, my exploring ability.
Yeah.
And I think that'll change your life. Like, I don't want to just keep doing what I've always done. For a long time, I was doing something. Then I got into real estate and it became my identity. Then I decided to do this podcast, and I've been freed so much mentally by being able to have conversations like this.
I love it.
And then add that with the travel. I'm like, what if I just learn how other people live their lives, experience different cultures, and be rich in life and not just rich on the books?
Yeah.
So in the next 5 years, I really think, I thought it was the woods, but I think the woods is in the 50s. We talked about it. You're like, hey, this is how you get to the woods, because I wanted to go to the mountains and hide out. I think the mountains are later. I think it's backpack Zach for like 35 to 50. I think it's just, where's Zach? Oh, I'm in Sweden, man. I've been out here for like a month. You want to come? Like, I think that's really my calling, is not traveling for anybody else but myself.
Yeah.
Exploring, hanging out with my wife, continuing to build traits in myself that aren't just business related.
Yeah.
And it's actually built more business relationships, which is crazy. Like, I met some people in the UK that do developments, where they do big buildings and things like that for investors. But then I also met someone that's similar to us. They call it deal sourcing when they're wholesaling. It's not called wholesaling, but there's someone that does a lot of that stuff. Then I found someone that flips a lot. But then I found someone that's involved in the community, and he's doing a lot of stuff for Ghana, Africa, because that's where his people are originally from. And I'm like, man, the more I let go, the more I get involved in. So I just want to explore the world. And I know that you get passive income. I know you got to get this and get that and get that. But I just think my checklist keeps rearranging. And it's a long answer to just say that I just want to keep going. I want to explore. I want to have fun responsibly. I want to treat the world good. I want to meet more people. I want to learn more perspectives. And I just want to grow my mind. And that's where I've been.
I love it, man.
So thank you for asking. That's why I'm telling you it's therapy, because someone will ask me something and I get to really dive in deep to where I've been scratching the surface when you're by yourself in your notebook or at home or like we do. And I got it from you, Post-its on the mirror and stuff like that. But I've changed in the last 2 years a lot.
Good, bro.
And life's got more fun from it.
Good, man.
But
good.
I know we're going to get out of here, but this won't be the last time that we get to have the pod, because I feel like we've only scratched the surface on everything anyways. But just to summarize, man, when people ask me how I got into real estate, there's only one answer. And I respect everything you're doing. I respect the hundreds of people you got in your community. But to know you took a chance because something told you to take a chance with me and we locked in forever, it changed my life. Man.
It's awesome, bro.
I'll say one last thing. Most people would quit if they were told to buy a house, quit their 6-figure job, start a job with wholesaling. That's scary, illegal. What's going on?
Yeah.
Have to buy a new car, which for me, I was used to buying $8,000 cars trying to make it, buy an actual vehicle. Most people would have ran for the hills. And for some reason, it felt right. And that's God, and that's you, and that's me, and that's our relationship. But now there's no looking back. When I see you in Phoenix, when I see you on business trips, when I see you speaking at things like you're going to go to San Antonio, and you'll probably take the words out of my mouth. It's something we always say, like it's normal. It feels like it's not supposed to be normal.
Yeah.
But it's normal.
Right.
Because we can do whatever we want. And I thought it was impossible. I thought we had these handcuffs where we were just going to make bare minimum, struggle, have the same problems our parents had. But it's like, no, bro, I took a risk. And then now we're in Tulsa skirting in your Corvette for fun. So, man, I just really have a lot of respect for you.
Same here, bro.
I love you, man. And
love you too, dog.
I'm glad you're back in jiu-jitsu too, so you can start fucking me up.
Nah, I don't know about that.
I saw you in there warming up the other day and you was barely jogging. I said, this mother.
You don't know, I ran there. I was about to be late. The first time I had to do special warm-ups. And Emily was talking crap.
Bro, Emily's the worst.
She said, get on the mat. It's your first day here on time. Not doing special warm-up. Or you don't do it anyway. I'm like, golly, bro.
They got some heat, don't they?
I know. And then I look at G, I was like, bro, get her, bro. Get her. Anyway.
Thank you for your time. Because I've been looking forward to this. But God has a way of making you wait for like those good things. So just getting to talk shit with you for an hour is awesome.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, my man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Something I wanted to say, I didn't want to go too long, but when you talked about the fact that, what you want to do for the next 5 years is crazy, because I thought back to a conversation that actually I think about sometimes. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember? I had the short too.
What did you say good about me, dog?
No, it's funny to hear you say, hey, 5 years from now, the way that you talk about like not chasing the things of the world and all that stuff, and just kind of more so living life with perspective of your own or others and just experiencing life. The two things that I go back to. One, you may not remember this, but we were on the phone one time because we talked a lot on the phone, and you were like, man, it's just sick. And I was like, what? And you're like, it's just so sick that we have to work to live. Like we have to work for money, and then money pays for us to live. It's like, we have to work to live, bro. And I was like, yeah, Zach, it's how it is. You're like, I know. Bye. And we got off the phone or something, like just real quick. And I'm just like, but it's still sick. That word sick. Like it's so sick to think that we have to do this in order to do that, in order to do this, in order to live, in order to pay for water, in order to have a grape. Like you got to work for those things. So I thought that was crazy. But the other piece it goes back to the earlier piece of the conversation. Whenever you were like, it's crazy. I was in Moore and then I came to the north side and I was like, what is this? It gives perspective to what you just said. It's like being able to see life outside of that is stretch your level of imagination. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people in the hood, a lot of gangbangers, a lot of people who die is because they don't understand there's more to life.
There's more options.
They don't know. They've never been to a beach. Like, think about that. Like, a lot of people live in neighborhoods. They bang for the neighborhood because that's all they know. They never made it past a square mile. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think there's people in California who've never been to the beach. Like, we go there for the beach, right? People who just live in their hood and they die and kill for their hood. It's just a level of thinking, a level of imagination they can't see. They don't think that the world is bigger than 44th Ave. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. So you then had a friend that lived in North OKC. You like, oh, North OKC. Big. Life's different. This is different. This is different. Oh, this is different. Now you traveling the world. You're like, oh, like going to the woods. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wait, life is bigger than just my front yard. Life is bigger than, you know what I mean? And I think that's where I go. Because you talked about like the patterns there. You can now look back, hindsight 2020, and call and be like, okay, this changed, but it was always, those seeds were always there.
Yeah, it's always a reoccurring.
Yeah, it's always reoccurring. It's just kind of like retro Jordans, you know what I mean?
I got to tell you one funny thing. I know we're bonus material, but I FaceTimed James when I was overseas.
So funny,
bro, I was overseas the first time, and I'm walking through Manchester by myself. Rachel was with her friends. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing out here with no supervision? I'm just walking around. Just had some lady from there braid my hair. I'm just walking through. It's 2 a.m. I'm getting chips. Like, just left the bar, was playing pool. I'm like, this is life. Yeah. Like, doing what I want is life. Mm-hmm. And I think of what you said because, like, who put me out here? Like, I one thing I always think about, and I say it to James and them and you because you're just the day ones. I'm like, I'll be sitting there in some random seafood restaurant in some random country, bro. I'll look up the miles and I'm 6,800 miles from Moore. And I'm like, I want to stand up and say, hey, y'all, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, my story was supposed to end a long time ago or be stuck in a box somewhere. And I'm like, this is dope. But
that's all.
That's all. We got to get out.